Hello, Thing fans. This is Pete from DALWHINNY, and Kala is here as well.
Hiya!
All right, this is volume 3.5, and we hope you enjoyed volumes 1, 2, and 3.
It will be the last volume. Or
No,
I'm going to strangle someone.
Our opus to the Thing is technically complete. This 3.5 is basically the leftovers. Things that we didn't feel would quite fit into the other volumes, or things we actually, some of it we actually kind of forgot to include.
Go lay down.
As well as at the end, we're going to be some outtakes and bloopers. We think you're really going to enjoy that. They make us laugh. So, yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. If you haven't seen volumes 1, 2, and 3, or any of our other Thing content,
little shorts and whatnots.
No, there's plenty out there. We have a whole playlist dedicated to John Carpenter's The Thing. Check it out. Please comment, like, and share. So let's get to it.
We're back.
We're back. When we started this project, we were planning on having 4 episodes released in June, July, August, and September.
And we were on target for September.
Yes. Unfortunately, life gets in the way, and didn't happen yet. So we've had to piece this together, recorded over the months since then.
Yeah, he's got a new shirt, finally.
So a lot of the extra pieces that weren't recorded in September have me wearing this shirt, a gift from my lovely wife, Kala.
That was basically encouraging you to get your ass in gear and get back to doing this again.
So now we have officially completed it. So you will see some things here and there that may seem a bit odd, and that's because of the kind of haphazard production in this last episode. But it's completed now for your enjoyment. So moving on, here's volume 3.5.
Thank you for your patience, too. We really do appreciate it. This one was weird.
Yeah, it's a bit of a hodgepodge of all kinds of different things, so
that's why it's
enjoy.
0.5. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
Well, no, not bye. No, wait, no. Don't leave. No, stop. No. Sit down. Sit down.
Sit your ass down and finish this video.
Just watch this video. Right. This is a long time coming.
Yes.
Enjoy. Okay, thank you.
In Volume 2, I alluded to how I felt Norris had been assimilated when we were discussing whose shadow is on the wall. So this is how I'm going to explain how I felt Norris was assimilated in a little bit more detail, because we didn't have time in that show.
And this is only our opinion. I don't think the filmmakers or anybody ever says how, why, when, where.
I emailed Stuart Cohen directly, and he said he has no idea. Nobody has any idea. They didn't really think about it. So this is my opinion on what happened. Actually, it's probably an opinion that's very much in the minority. A lot of people probably wouldn't agree with me, but I'm just going to show you how I felt. And this is how I felt for a long time, long before the internet or anything showing anything from behind the scenes.
And he's saying the thing over again that's getting in his head.
Yeah. It starts off with Fuchs giving that warning about if only a small particle of this animal or being can assimilate an entire organism, I suggest we prepare our own meals and we only eat out of cans. And that stuck with me because, why say that? Why have that warning if the creature isn't going to exploit it later?
Right. It's almost like a nod to someone. We're not going to say who did it.
Right.
Or who was assimilated that way by eating something.
Right. So and then later on, when they have Mac locked out and he breaks back in, the fight ensues, and then Norris is knocked down and he goes unconscious. He's not breathing, and then they have to try to resuscitate him, and everybody's familiar with the defibrillator scene.
Chest compressions, chest compressions, chest compressions. Thank you, Dr. Mike.
So what led
I don't think the defibrillator was quite like an excessively used trope back in '82.
No, because
the way it is now.
well, one is that he's using the paddles. It's all they had back then. Nowadays, you see a lot of TV and movies using the paddles. They don't need to use them. They have these little stickers that go here, however you want to do it, and that's all you need. But it's not as dramatic as.
Well, also, doesn't now you just put the stickers on and stand back, and the machine assesses.
Mm-hmm.
But you also because if you haven't seen other things, Peter is a nurse. He has his bachelor's in nursing. He's been a nurse and an EMT and a firefighter since you were 15?
16, yeah.
Yeah. Well, firefighter and then anyway. But I just lost my brain. Oh, you think it's funny when Norris is on the table, there's nothing hooked up to him, yet you hear the flatline.
Yeah.
It's like, where are they getting the flatline
Where's the
from?
tone coming from?
There's no leads on it.
There's no leads touched to him, so... Yeah, that's pretty funny. So we're going to start off with Fuchs. He gives the warning. All right, and then...
Right, and it doesn't make sense to put something in there if you're not alluding to...
Right.
Like maybe, but they never think about it. They never get specific.
No, it's never explicitly stated any of this. Like I said, this is my idea. Like I said, a lot of people probably wouldn't agree with it.
And because he's still wearing that same sweater,
right?
It's not like it tore through his
right.
McCready is very specific. Well, it tears through your clothing.
Right, and you see Norris wear. Someone pointed out it looks like Jason's mom's sweater from Friday the 13th, but it's neither here nor there. So Fuchs gives a warning, and then they said, we got to start closing off all the outside doors because Knowles and Mac are out there too long. And Norris is taking off the flamethrower, and you see he's uncomfortable. He looks like he's in some form of discomfort. Then later on, as they're nailing up the doors and everything, he spies Knowles outside. He goes, hey, you guys, come here. And he goes, ah. Now, he's not doing this, covering his heart or going, ooh. He's down here like this, his stomach. Again, that's right here is your stomach, and that's where he was kind of grabbing it.
I'm not sure if the thing is getting that low to show.
Well, they're but yeah, he's grabbing his stomach, and he's bending over. Now, it makes me think that he's not a thing at this point because there's no witnesses. There's no reason for a thing to act this way.
To put on the show.
There's no reason to put on any type of subterfuge. And then the guys come in, and then the whole thing happens, and then like I said, Norris is down, and then he has the defibrillator scene. And then when he uses the paddles in it's his belly that opens up. Not up here, but it's more down here. So all of that leads me to think that Norris ate something, and it had a bit of thing tissue in it, and it was slowly growing inside him. So he wasn't aware of anything that was going on. And it was slowly taking over his body bit by bit, and that's when he started to not feel well, and having the pain is when it was starting to get larger. And
it was growing much
similar. And it's also inside. Kind of exponential. The bigger it gets, the faster it grows. And it would just happen to be basically inconvenient timing for the thing, because they have the confrontation and Norris gets knocked down. At that same time, the thing has gotten to the point where it actually killed him and was starting to take over the rest of his body.
Basically, it killed the Norris if the Norris organs are already assimilated inside, right. Nothing's keeping the Norris shell.
Yeah,
and now it's a shell now.
And then, like I said, then they have the defibrillator scene, and it fights back, and then ultimately gets burned up, and that just leads to my particular favorite special effects scene, and especially the sound of the legs coming out of the head. That
literally was cracking crab.
Yeah, it just like that crunch is just like, it's kind of satisfying. It's like, yes, I love that.
And you don't eat seafood, but when I do, you always go, reminds me of the thing. Shut up. I'm trying to enjoy this.
I don't say that, do I?
Every once in a while, whenever there's crab legs. Oh no, I don't mind. It doesn't gross me out. Apparently, I'm terribly sorry. I don't know the he just made a movie recently. He's
Mickey 17.
The Korean director?
Yes.
Because he loved John Carpenter, and he said as a kid he didn't want to eat crab for a long time.
Like about a month, I think he said.
The sound and the fact that they actually are crab legs that come out. He's just like, nope, didn't want to eat that for a while.
So that, like I said, that all of those pieces of the puzzle make me think that's how Norris was assimilated. And so therefore Palmer's a shadow on the wall because Norris is here. This also leads to the next argument is a lot of people will say, well, Norris had a bad heart. When you look at it in the context of the movie, there's no mention of any heart condition whatsoever.
Unless you watched, isn't it in the bastardized version?
I'm not 100% sure because we'd have to review it again. But the TV edit that was made for like 86 had like this weird voiceover of about each individual character, and a lot of it was read verbatim off of the script where they had the description up at the top page. And For Norris, it says incipient heart condition. Now, I don't know if it says that in that voiceover thing in the TV edit. We'll have to look at it again.
But the script said it.
But the script said that. Now, one, it's just the script. It's not in the movie. There's a lot of things in the script that aren't in the movie. So you can't just pick and choose what part of the script is canon and what is not.
Right, because if you're watching it in a theater, you're not sitting there with the script in your lap going, oh, well, this is what they meant.
Right, and that's the whole point of this whole video series is, in context, what does the movie show you? And the movie says nothing about a heart condition.
No.
Now, I also want to focus on what you said is the word incipient. Incipient, if I can get it right. That means it's in the very early stages, which means if it was a new early stage heart condition, it's most likely something correctable, not immediately fatal. Could even just be high blood pressure. Technically, that's a heart condition.
Yeah, and it's that thing where, like, incipient is usually when the doctor gets your test results back and he gets real serious, gets in your face and goes, listen, stop with the fried food, skip a dessert from every so often. Mm-hmm. And for God's sakes, would you go out and take a walk a few nights a week?
Yeah.
Come back in 6 months, we'll see how you're doing and go from there.
Right.
It's literally just this, it's like there's a hint of something, course correct now, and you're fine. It's not going to cause a heart attack when you're stressed.
So that's part of my pet peeve about that is that it's like keep people saying, we had a heart condition. There's nothing in the movie about it. There really isn't.
And in all honesty, I mean, they did not go for, because you wouldn't have guns. Antarctica, you're not allowed to have guns. That's something I wouldn't include in this. Oh, yeah. Is a little bit about Antarctica.
So they knew.
They wouldn't have guns, but also at the same time, because you are stuck down there without any way to get to and from.
Right.
I mean, honestly, people will have their wisdom teeth removed just to keep from needing something. If you haven't had it done, just so you don't need any kind of emergency dentistry. Even though they do have doctors down there, it's still limited. And if something's bad, they can't evacuate you out. Because sometimes you're there for months, if not up to 13 months, with just what you got.
Right.
So if it was a bad heart condition, and again, I know the filmmakers weren't even thinking this far, but logically, he would not have been even allowed to go down there.
No, if he had something seriously where it was something that a level of stress could have caused some type of arrhythmia or something fatal, no, he wouldn't have been down there.
Right.
And one of the other things is people keep saying it's a heart attack. Coming from a healthcare background, there is a difference between heart attack and cardiac arrest. And yes, I'm going to be pedantic Pete a little bit because a heart attack doesn't mean your heart stops. Heart attack basically means some or all of the blood leading to a portion of your heart has been blocked by something. And it's the heart tissue that is starting to die. But the heart is still pumping. It's just not pumping as effectively.
Oh, it's going to hurt like a mofo.
And it's going to give you that crushing chest pain. The most common description is an elephant sitting on your chest. Now, sometimes...
Small ones you don't even notice.
Right. And sometimes a heart attack can be immediately fatal where it's called the Widowmaker. And it takes you out cold right then and there. Technically, that is a possibility in the film. But more likely is, in my opinion, is the creature was taking him over inside and his heart just stopped.
Because his heart wasn't there anymore.
Right, because it was actually starting to take over his heart and the heart is, being absorbed. So the heart's just going to stop. And that's cardiac arrest where you have straight flat line.
And you don't shock for that.
And no, you don't defibrillate that. You don't use the paddles for that. We watch Dr. Mike on YouTube. He's a physician, and one of his pet peeves about TV and movies is they do that. They shock a flatline rhythm. That's not going to do anything.
I can't remember what I was watching the other day. I was watching something the other day, and they said, no, he's in like, did they actually say VTAC? You can shock him. And they put the stickers on. I'm like, oh my God, somebody got it right. And I totally forgot what show I was watching because I wanted to show you. Crap.
That's okay.
Cut this out. But, somebody gets it right from time to time. Yeah, flatline is not. Right. There are things you try.
Right. The most common one is ventricular fibrillation. That's why the device is called a defibrillator. And it's basically the muscles of the heart are literally spasming, and it's just shuddering in your chest. And it's not able to pump properly, and it gives you this weird rhythm. And what the defibrillator does, it actually shocks the heart to stop it. And then it's supposed to basically restart on its own in a normal rhythm.
And meanwhile, all the medical professionals in the room are holding breath waiting for you to go.
Right. And he says that's why they say clear, because if you're touching them when they do that, you're going to get zapped too, and it hurts. So.
You knew somebody who they came back from it.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, felt like you got hit by a bus, huh? He's like, yes.
Mm-hmm. And actually,
but he was alive.
Yes, he was alive. And I also, as an ER tech, I witnessed someone who had, and I think it was VTAC, ventricular tachycardia.
But he was conscious, right?
He was awake.
And you welded him.
They gave him medication. It didn't work. So this is, we got to zap you. And he just goes, he goes, oh! Rhythm came back. So, yeah, it doesn't do that noise or anything like that. It doesn't make any sound at all. You just hear the guy go, yeah. So, like I said, I have to be pedantic about it. I'm sorry. I work in healthcare and I know exactly what goes on. And I've been on situations where we are doing CPR and using the defibrillator. So.
But at the same time, you also understand it was the effect they were going for. It's ultimately, it's the rule of cool.
Yeah, it's drama. It's a movie.
Yeah, and so you forgive it. There are some people who get very angry.
Yes.
And very big. I mean, even Dr. Mike, he doesn't get super angry. But I remember my cousin was an EMT and paramedic, and he said that TV does mess that up for healthcare and even first responders because, well, why aren't you shocking him? It's like,
unfortunately.
Because he's blue and cold and in full rigor right now.
Yes.
His lungs is dead. Well, why aren't you shock him? Or do chest compressions like.
And unfortunately, that is sometimes where television gives people unrealistic expectations of what happens in an emergency situation. That just happens, and it's unfortunate. Moving on to, again, Norris's heart. This is where I fervently disagree with a lot of people when it comes to how Norris collapsed during the fight.
Is this where people think it's like, well, it copied a fouled up heart.
Right.
It copied a defect.
What I've always termed it as a perfect copy of an imperfect heart. And to me, that's just not feasible, given what we surmise about the creature. The creature absorbs your body and then makes an imitation body. Now, it's not human tissue anymore; it's thing tissue. So, and the predominant theory or hypothesis is that it's a collective of single cell organisms all working in concert to do what it does.
Sort of like a beehive.
Kind of.
Without a queen.
Right. And so if Norris thing was all thing tissue, even if it did have, like, say, a congenital defect, he had the congenital defect in his heart and the thing copied it.
But you have to explain congenital. That's you're born with.
Something you're born with, like a valve that doesn't work quite right.
And again, he wouldn't have been allowed to work down there if he had.
If that were the case, no. But just for the sake of argument, he had a valve in his heart that was not working right, and the creature copied it. It's thing tissue. It's not real blood. It's not a real heart.
Well, it's just like the blood test scenes. Like it does not need a heart to function.
Right. So
why would
it wouldn't fall victim to any of the ailings that people fall to.
Yeah, because the head, when the head popped off and sprouted leg, that doesn't have a heart in it.
There's no heart or blood in there, and the creature was able to function. So that argument just falls flat for me, and that's why I always have my idea on how Norris was assimilated. It's all of this is kind of related. So, I mean, those are just my opinions on it, and like I said, feel free to disagree.
Yeah, what do you guys think?
Feel free to comment and let us know, even if it's something that maybe is, again, like my hypothesis is probably very much in the minority. Let us know what you think. Come on, if you got something that's maybe off the wall or strange or unusual, let us hear it. Let us know. So comment below and we'll get a discussion going.
The only thing that you can ever glean from the filmmakers was, I'm sorry, I can never remember his last name, Charles O'Halloran? Hallahan. He said in that one documentary they did, that
Terror Take Shape, yeah.
Yeah, he felt when the scenes where they find the fridge full of blood destroyed and they go out in the hall and then they said they wanted to offer him, why don't you take charge? Mm-hmm. He said no. He played that scene as if Norris knew something was wrong. That he knew either he wasn't himself and that he might be a thing. That's how he played that scene.
Right.
So in his mind, he was either already changed or changing. So that's the only, but like, the writers, the director, nobody else said anything, but that's just how he played the scene. And that's what he personally felt is why Norris rejected taking leadership.
Right. And that makes sense if you want to go that route. Yeah. All right. Now we're going to talk about the nature of the beast. We touched on it a little bit about when we talked about how Norris was assimilated. But in my opinion, the creature absorbs a human and takes over, makes the perfect copy in 3 different ways. First, it literally is able to make a physical replica of your physical body. And that's just simple enough to look at it and see everything, and you can just duplicate that. Even like tattoos, it can simulate skin color and all that kind of stuff.
Because essentially that's just it could just simulate melanin. It's just re-altering skin color.
Yeah. It could assimilate a dog with all the hair and everything, and the black nose. It can change its.
Well, wasn't it like originally a blue and red creature? So it might have absorbed stuff that had different skin. It can just access all that.
Right.
But it cannot copy inorganic material like your fillings.
The 2011 thing is where it touches on. It cannot duplicate inorganic material like metal, especially because. And then you watch the 2011 movie, you see that the fillings, and then the one person had a plate in his arm after as he was being absorbed, it was kicked out. So no, that's there.
Not die because I floss.
Then also it is able to read your DNA and basically understand the anatomy and physiology of.
And he's a nurse, folks.
Yes. And of the being it is copying, and to understand placement of the organs, it's making fake blood to look the part, but because it knows that's what the body would have. And then the last part, it is able to absorb or copy your memories. Otherwise, it would be useless as an imitation, because if it doesn't know how you are, how you act, what you know, then it's useless as a stealth copy. So it has to be able to do that. Now,
and it kind of seems like that's why when you get Bennings making that strange noise, it hadn't fully copied, it hadn't fully finished yet.
Right.
So it didn't have, human language or probably even the proper vocal cords finished yet.
Yeah, because some people do ask, it's like, why didn't the creature at that point try to communicate?
But so we kind of know you're not George, because I think they called him George.
Yeah,
right?
Matt calls him that when after he'd been hit and he brings over the bottle.
That's clearly not his hand, so it's like, okay, try to talk your way out of this one, Hotshot.
Yeah. It poses the question, if it's able to absorb your memories, does it take them or just simply copy them? What about your soul? If you believe in that sort of thing.
I would say, if you're going from a metaphysical point of view, the body is the thing that houses the soul, so it killed or absorbed or ate the original. The soul's gone. So now it's just a empty vessel copy of
right. That's how I look at it. Yeah. And that's basically how it's able to make a perfect copy, because it is able to do all of those things. Like it says, it comes to physical appearance, the scars, tattoos, anything, pigment, and then the DNA. Of course, would have to know how to scan it and understand. How the human body is put together, or whatever being it is absorbing.
You see that in Blair's assimilation. It basically chomps on the cell, absorbs it, copies it, and then becomes one. But it's not. Well, because we were just watching Invasion of the Body Snatchers, that built another body that essentially took your memory, but almost like no emotion. And then your body dissolves.
It falls into dust and weird hairy stuff. Because that was in that movie, you see it all this weird gray, hairy stuff all over the place is being thrown away. I mean, it's showing you how many people have been duplicated.
Right. But it's also it's not a demonic possession, because there are some people who feel like it just takes over your current body. Right. No, it's not like a possession or a parasite or anything like that, or a symbiotic.
Yeah, the human body or the victim, whatever is a dog, whatever, is completely absorbed and destroyed or digested. And then the copy is made up of thing tissue, and the victim is no longer there. There's no consciousness whatsoever. It's interesting you point that out, is because in the 2005 miniseries that they were going to do for Sci-Fi, and I read the script. That's kind of something they touch on, that all of the consciousness and everything was still there. And they were using electricity to kind of try and bring about some of that stuff. And I think it was a bit far-fetched, honestly, on how the creature worked, but that's what they wanted to do. So that's how I believe the creature works. Again, let us know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Is it just something of pure evil? Or is it just a creature that is just simply trying to live?
This is how it survives, and that's it. Mm-hmm. You can't, a lot of people talk about you can't hate a shark because that's just what he is.
Mm-hmm.
He eats things. Well, how does he eats, he sleeps, and makes little sharks.
And that's all.
Anybody eating this? All right, that's the wrong movie. Sorry, guys.
Also, there's a lot of theories about why the ship was in distress when it crashed, how the thing got there. Well, because if you want to expand on that, go right ahead, because there's a big rabbit hole we really don't want to go down.
Well, there's a little bit of a dropped plot line in the 2011 one where you see a pilot dead.
Yeah.
And then basically it was a prison ship where I think they just show a column of almost like a matrixy digital thing. Yeah. Originally it was supposed to be something where it was showing prisoner numbers or something.
But also the digital part actually covers up the practical pilot, so to speak.
Right.
And then it had the bluish skin and the 3 eyes like it was described in the original novella.
But I think it was supposed to be as if it was a prison ship and the creature escaped, killed the pilot, assimilated the pilot, and then got out and went, shit, it's cold, and froze.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oops, kind of misjudged that.
If you want to throw your hypothesis about how the creature ended up on Earth, go for it. I said it's a big rabbit hole. There's so many avenues you go down. We're not really willing to explore that right now.
Was it? And the filmmakers never made a decision. So I was like, what works for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what works for you? What do you think? All right, now we're going to talk about, basically this is tidbits. Tiddlebiddles, I love that. Just a lot of random little bits and bobs that did make it into the other volumes.
Who's Bob?
I don't know. Who's Bits? Bitsy. First is a number of videos I've seen where talking about the thing. They mentioned that the cast and crew was asked to watch the original Thing from Another World, the 51 film. And I asked Stuart Cohen about that, and he said yes. They had this beat-up old 16-millimeter version of it, and the cast and crew were required to watch it as they came on board. Now, they watched it, and he says a number of people actually questioned whether or not it was relevant to what they were doing, because they're creating a whole entire new movie. But yeah, it is true that they were asked to watch that. So that was pretty interesting. Another aspect is that, obviously it's an all-male cast. The crew was almost entirely all male as well, and it wasn't
almost entirely. No, it was.
The cast by design was all male, and that's what they wanted to do. The crew was all male because that just happened to be the way it is. There was a woman who was part of the crew up in the Stuart, British Columbia location, but she was pregnant. Now she started to, have the issues with her pregnancy, so she left the production. So it basically became an all-male.
And you were able to confirm that, or was that just?
Yeah, it is. It's in there. It's not in Stuart Cohen's blog, but I forget the source of it. But yeah, it's pretty much confirmed.
Okay.
A couple of videos say it was a cast member where a woman had been cast and they were replaced by somebody else. That's not it. It was a crew member, not a cast member.
And Kurt Russell, I can't remember where we watched it. If it was just an interview with him, or if it was something.
It was part of that documentary.
Okay. Because he said it, and this is I'm sure he's not saying it as any offense to having women on set or whatever. But he said because there was nobody to posture for and be like, oh, I'm, Mr. Cool over here, and I have to, that thing where they joke about when a gorgeous woman walks by, the guy's sucking their guts and stuff. Yeah. They weren't doing any of that. He said they were actually they were goofing around. It's almost like you use the term in neurodivergence where you unmask. Mm-hmm. So you were able to just relax and be yourself and like be your goofy whatever weird, and then you see them sledding on top of each other or whatever.
Norbert Weiser, who played the Norwegian with the rifle, he sent us some really cool pictures. There's a couple of them up right now. We're really grateful to him for these pictures because I have not seen them anywhere else. So I believe these are exclusive. So please enjoy them.
Behind the scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so apparently, it's made for an interesting. They had a good time, made for an interesting time.
Mm-hmm. Because you see in that documentary them, having fun, making music and singing a song. You see all of them getting involved. Mac, Kurt Russell, Keith David, Charlie Hallahan, T.K. Carter, all of them just getting together, singing a song about the movie they were making. It was really, really funny and really cool to see that.
Well, that's not to say that if there were women there, they wouldn't do that. I mean, I've heard things about when they did the X-Men prequels with McAvoy and Fassbender and even Jennifer Lawrence and stuff. Apparently, in between shooting, they would, I think it was airsoft rifles. I highly doubt they would allow paintball. It's too messy.
Right.
So I can't airsoft. Don't hit in the face. So yeah, they can't mess this up. So it's not to say that, oh, well, they have to be serious because there's women. It's like, no, just that, they said it led for just something different because nobody was trying to show off.
Mm-hmm.
But then it sounds like there are some movie things where women, men, it doesn't matter. Everybody's just having a good time and doing it. Mm-hmm. It all depends on who's in charge too, I'm sure.
Well, yeah, I remember when we interviewed Tom Waits, he said that when you're working for Carpenter, you work hard, but you also get to play hard. So that was nice to hear.
Oh, and because it's out there somewhere. Maybe we can find a link to it. For Big Trouble in Little China, there's a behind-the-scenes outtake thing because I don't remember his name who paid Egg Chen. Mm. Apparently, he was napping in between stuff, and what John would do is John would go pretend to sit there having a conversation with him while he's sleeping, like he's ignoring him.
Yeah, it was hilarious. You just see him sleeping there, and then Carpenter's just talking to him so like animatedly, like he's having this really brilliant conversation, and the guy's just totally sleeping. It was really funny the way they did that.
Yeah, but even that one, the behind the scenes stuff shows them having fun and laughing, being silly. So
having a good time, and it makes you feel good knowing that because it actually helps you seem to enjoy the movie more for some reason. I'm not sure why, but knowing that they had a good time making it makes you enjoy the movie more.
Mm-hmm. And they all got along. It wasn't like, oh, that one hated each other.
Yeah. Moving on to the blood test scene.
Oh, yeah.
One of the things I thought was interesting is when you see Mac holding the dish, the Petri dish in his hand, you'll notice that it's clearly, obviously, it's a fake hand, but they actually put that fake hand in sooner than really needed. And that was basically to establish continuity throughout the whole scene.
So it's not like all of a sudden his hand looks weird. Oh, that's a giveaway.
Yeah, suddenly, it would be like, say, you saw a real hand and then suddenly you can see that it's a prop hand. It's like, okay, well, something's about to happen.
Right.
No, they kept the prop hand in there on those certain type of close-ups the whole time. So there's consistency. There was no change to indicate something that might happen. Mm-hmm. And then if you look very closely.
Oh, yeah, there is an indication.
Just before he hits the needle in there, you see Kurt Russell kind of flinch just a tiny bit.
His left eye kind of.
So, yeah, because he knew what to expect, and then he was like, So, just a little tidbit for you.
But a lot of times you're not looking at his face. You're like, if you watch it again, we'll probably put it on screen now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see it's like, rather than watching the hand, watch his face. Oh, Kurt, come on.
He telegraphs it a tiny bit, yeah.
You're better than that, Kurt. Let me down, man.
Another thing I wanted to point out is there's a cast photo that's very popular goes around, and you'll see them all gather around the helicopter up in the Canada location. But you notice that Wilford Brimley is not in it because he was not part of the cast on that location. He did all of his scenes at the studio in Los Angeles, and then once all that was done, he was not needed anymore. But occasionally you do see the character of Blair pop up on screen.
A Blair shape.
But it's not Blair, it's not Wilfred. And I have a number of things where it's Blair, but it's not Blair. Anytime you see Blair outside, it's not Wilfred Brimley. There's two scenes when Blair is being taken to the tool shed. That's Dick Warlock, the stuntman.
Because he's just hanging his head being drugged.
And he's got the mask on and the hood over, so you just... And earlier in the movie, when you see Blair after he chopped up the helicopter and runs inside, again, that's Dick Warlock. And you can kind of see that it's not quite as a heavier build as
Well, they tried to pave it out the
But
parka.
A couple other things. There's a close-up of Blair being injected in the arm by copper when he's in the shed. And I don't remember the person's name, and we'll put it below. But in the commentary with John Carpenter and I was going to say Russell Wilson.
Where's that from? I
have no idea. Kurt Russell. They mentioned that the camera operator, and his name is below, is the one who volunteered. Because I was thinking to myself, as a nurse who's given probably hundreds of injections at this point, I'm thinking, wow, that looks pretty real. That's because it was real.
It's not like a retractable needle or a prop needle.
It's not a fake needle. They actually injected probably just either sterile water or saline into the arm to get the good, an actual injection. And it was a camera operator who stood in for Blair, but he also stands in for Copper when he gets his morphine shot from Norris.
And wasn't everybody like, dude, what's wrong with you?
He says, and Kurt makes the joke. He's like, yeah, he volunteered for that too. It's like, yeah, he's in rehab now, isn't he? And then there's another one where Blair finishes watching the simulation and you see a hand reach into the drawer to pull out the pistol. That's not Wilfred Brimley's hand. It's somebody else. Unfortunately, I was unable to confirm whose hand that was. And then the last one is when Blair comes up behind Gary.
When they're setting the dynamite and everything.
And he puts his hand to his face and starts to absorb him by the face. When you get the close-up of Gary's face, you can see that is a hand of a thinner and younger person. That is actually Rob Bottin's hand doing that onto Gary's face.
But there was a funny aside in that scene.
Yes.
Is they always ask Wilfred, because he just has such a vacant look, like he's staring off doing something. And I think it was John Carpenter says, what were you thinking of right then? He goes, doing laundry.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay. Because you hear about actors, it's like when you have to cry, what do you think about to get that emotion? It's like, what did you think about to get that just vapid expressions? Like, doing laundry.
Doing my laundry.
And anybody who's done laundry can attest to that. Mm-hmm. I do feel pretty emotionless just holding this shit again.
The many stand-ins for Blair. So it's pretty interesting. Just a little, again, more little tidbits and trivia for you. So again, please like, subscribe, comment below, tell us what you think. If you have anything else we might have missed. Like, we can't cover it all. If there's something we might have missed.
How many hours we've talked about this and we still aren't covering it all.
It's all right. Pixie dust. One of the people we really want to thank in this whole project is Norbert Weiser. He played the Norwegian with the rifle, and he has provided a number of images that have probably never been seen before, and we're very grateful to him for that. And we have some more. A commenter on one of the videos had mentions, there's not a lot of information about the Norwegians and
why they did what they did.
There's the whole prequel movie, but then this particular commenter thought about the Norwegians in the helicopter themselves.
Yeah, because he was even asked why did they drop the grenade?
Right, and so we've been in contact with Norbert, and he's, like I said, been very helpful and very kind to deliver a lot of images, and he has sent us some images of script pages that I believe have never been seen before. And these are his copies that he has.
His notes are written
for his scenes. And there was a lot more involved with the two of them, but more than what you see in the finished product. The finished product is basically there's mystery men. They come up, they're flying a helicopter, shooting at a dog, they blow themselves up, the other guy gets whacked.
Yeah, but they were given sort of given names.
They were given names, like everybody knows.
One of them was, because one was just as left as Larry Franco.
Because the other Norwegians played by Larry Franco, and he was the second unit director, I believe.
Wasn't he Kurt's
at that time, he was Kurt's brother-in-law. I don't know when.
No, maybe he had
I'm not entirely sure.
Time. It was at one point in Kurt's life. This was his brother-in-law.
Yes. So there actually was dialogue, and Norbert was able to send us copies of the pages, not only of it in English, but he had a friend of his translate it into Norwegian and spell it out phonetically. And
because Norbert is Norbert Weiser.
He was born in Germany.
And he says it's in Germany it would be Weiser, but if you call him Weiser, he's fine with
okay
that.
He
understands.
Yeah. Because I asked him how you pronounce it. He goes, in Germany, Weiser. In America, Weiser.
Doesn't matter. Yeah, just don't call him Dick, or I don't know.
No, that's the other guy. So he was very kind to show us these images, and we're going to show them to you now. And if you want to, you can read along here, and some of the stuff here, it's like really interesting. I'm going to be glancing over at some of the stuff here. You see, this is.
Oh, every time I click the thing, it shrinks it back down again. Mm-hmm. So, so I do want to, because he had a friend who was Norwegian who translated it and then gave him essentially phonetics, right. how to pronounce it.
Not only did he write it down here, but if I remember correctly from Norbert's email, he said he also recorded it so he could mimic it.
Yeah.
Phonetically.
Right. And was it some people said it sounds like Norwegian with a German accent. Other people said it's spot on. Other people said it's not. And we actually found out recently through this lovely gentleman on the internet.
A YouTuber that we like to follow.
Yeah, that Norway has 2 official languages and over 40 dialects. Mm-hmm. So much so that he made a joke that if a father, like the son, moved to the next town, they'd both have to learn a new language.
Yeah, that's very interesting.
If you're like, well, how come everybody's got differing opinions on his Norwegians? Apparently, Norway has a lot of options.
Yeah, because he told me, so some people thought it was good, other people thought it was crap. So,
I always thought it was German. Until they said he's Norwegian. It's like, okay, good to go. Mm-hmm. What do I know?
There's a deleted scene where Gary reads the dog tags, and it says Jens Bolin, or Bolin, however you want to say it. And that was a character's name, but then that's part of a deleted scene. So when the 2011 film came out, the character's name was changed to Lars.
Wasn't there a Jans, though?
I don't think so. I don't believe so.
Where's my phone? I'm going to look it up.
But you can see here, there's his handwritten notes based on the dialogue that these 2 guys were going to have in the chopper. And it was like, where is it? It's out there, you find it, or you lost it. No, you lost it. And he's telling them to shoot it, you missed it. Like I said, there's a lot of exchange here, and I think it's really cool to see this, because this is, exclusive stuff here. I've never seen or heard of any of this before, and it's really, really cool.
Just tell me to click to the next one.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to interrupt you on your phone.
It's not a dog. Get away from it. It's the devil. Move, you dumb fucks. Move.
Don't touch it.
Yeah.
And here is the leave it like that. Oop. Zoom back out a little bit. Okay. Here is, again, this is the printed script page, and again, all more notes you can see on there, handwritten notes. And then at the bottom, you can see there's a closer approximation of what is actually said in the film itself. It's not a dog. It's some kind of thing. It's imitating a dog. It isn't real. It's the devil.
Yes, I think that's one of the reasons they don't bother. Now, there was a Jonas, not a Jans. I think that was like the reason they left. A lot of movies when somebody's speaking in another language, they translate it for you. Mm-hmm. I think that was the point, is they did not want to like tip their hand or give it away right away that something's wrong. They just, wanted to leave you as, what the F is going on? Why are these idiots shooting at a dog?
Right. And it goes to what you were saying about, being the 13th crew member, where, it's like the Norwegians are yelling, this guy is yelling at them in Norwegian. They have no idea what he's saying. As the audience, as the 13th crew member, doesn't know what they're saying, because you have the same information as the crew does. You don't have any omniscience to know more than what the cast does. So again, lends to that idea. Now it's pretty cool to see it, like all of these handwritten notes on the thing. You go to the next one.
Mm-hmm. Next slide and enhance.
Now again, here's more hide. Could you zoom in a bit more? Oh yeah, this is where you get the.
Where is it? It's out there. You lost. This is more like you're supposed to get more of what they're saying to each other in the chopper.
The typed in Norwegian underneath. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. It's not a fucking sled. What's that supposed to mean?
I think he's trying to say to get down lower, and he's like, "This isn't a sled. I'm not going to get that low."
Yeah, starting to get snowblind at that point.
Mm-hmm. You go to the next one, please.
Yeah, sure. Next slide, please.
Yeah, there's more handwritten notes. Personal notes from Norbert Weiser himself. So this is really, really cool.
Yeah, because it's what it says in English, translated into Norwegian, and then like how to actually pronounce it. It looks like he actually used German on how to pronounce the Norwegian. At least that's what it looks like to me.
That's interesting.
Because you see on the side the U with the umlaut and all that. At least that's what I'm interpreting it as.
That's pretty neat.
What do I know? I learned French and Italian and Chinese.
I took Spanish for 1 year.
I was going to say, I know French, Italian, and Mandarin Chinese, so what do I know about German? Except the only thing I know is like a couple words around here, but that's Pennsylvania Dutch. It's not the same.
I remember my mom telling me that she learned German in high school, and the only sentence she could say was, to repeat in German was, "The record player is broken."
Because that's useful.
So that's very useful.
Yeah.
All right, go to the next one, please.
Useful conversational language.
Mm-hmm.
Was it Susie Eddie Izzard talks about that? It's like, when you learn French, it's like the monkey is under the table, and then this is in the tree, and it's like, how am I supposed to talk to people learning that?
Yeah. Again, here's another page of the script. This time it's like no notations, no nothing. More, like I said, you can clearly see that the dialogue and some of the direction of what's going on in there. You do see a little bit of that where like you see some of them like bapping at each other and all that kind of stuff. But most of the time it's just silent. There's no dialogue, and it's pretty cool that they have this. At one point they were supposed to be. Wasn't
it that it was recorded and they just took the dialogue out? Because you actually do kind of see them talking. So yeah, so it was recorded. It's just that they decided, no, let's just leave it out because, they're in there arguing. It's like, are you going to translate? And then you're going to give it away. So I think that was the biggest reason.
It just adds to the mystery, the not knowing. The less you know, the more mysterious it becomes.
Yeah, because then you're like, what in the F is going on?
Can you go to the next one, please?
Yes.
I don't know how many more we have.
I don't know. I didn't set this up. I think this is inevitably what is actually said on screen. What?
Yeah, this is a more closer approximation of what you hear in the movie.
What it would be translated to,
Yeah.
Next, or is that it?
Yeah, go ahead.
There we go. Oh, and this is about where he drops the grenade, I guess?
Yeah, it must be. What's the matter? Did you drop it? No. Oh my God! And get out! Run!
Did you drop it? No. Well, yeah, never mind. I did.
Yeah, because the original idea was the copter was supposed to crash, and then the one guy gets out. But then they have more dialogue here. It looks like he dropped the grenade itself.
Okay, some people I think somebody had asked you like, why did he drop it? It's like, when he's a chopper pilot, they don't use grenades, but also you're cold. You're freaked out, especially if you take the 2011 as canon, where he just lands and Lars is like, "Look after that thing."
Well, he shows a rifle in his face. He's like, "Open your mouth." I'm like, well, "Okay, what the hell's going on?"
Nice to see you too, but this is not Deliverance. Thank you.
It's a whole nother movie.
Not squealing like a pig. So yeah, I mean, it's everybody kind of, I think people, you when you're watching a movie, you kind of forget, like, stress makes you do a lot of stupid, clumsy things. And then if they're cold, he's got massive gloves on to try to, like, fumble and throw this thing. So yeah, it's also, like, it's a quick way to get rid of extra cast.
You got to thin out the cast somehow, right?
Yeah, right?
Can you go to the next one? I don't know how many more.
I do apologize if you actually heard. I just cracked my neck.
That's Lee Van Cleef, so we're done. All right.
That's legally, that's from another thing. thing.
Yeah, like, again, we are very grateful to Norbert for these photos.
And this one photo we have here of him, that T-shirt you can't get anywhere. Somebody made that specially for him and gave it to him at a con that he was at.
I really wish that was available for sale, because I totally would have bought that and I'd be wearing it right now.
If you are the person who made that shirt and you were out there watching, please make it for sale, because we will buy them.
Mm-hmm. So yes.
He got his own action figure. Look, mean, you've made it when you get an action figure.
Mm-hmm. So again, we're very grateful to Norbert for all of these photos. Really great stuff behind the scenes.
Yeah, I want to say something about Norbert. Because I'm a very supportive wife. You wanted to do this, I'm like, yeah, sure, but what? I was kind of like, well, we have to make sure it's different. But he really challenged you to that.
Yes, he did. Norbert offered.
And it's only when we first started this back in like May or June, I put it together, because this was earlier in February when
this you talked. This is February when the first idea popped in my head, and it was only going to be a short video, but it blossomed into something bigger, especially when Norbert says, what are you going to do that is going to set yourself apart from the plethora of videos out there?
Months later, you're saying that, and I went, what other things has Norbert been in? It's like, oh, he was one of the German guys in Three Musketeers.
Wrong.
Three Musketeers. I'm so sorry. Not Three, it was Three Amigos.
Yes.
Sorry, I've been watching a lot of sword fighting lately, so I have like sword fighting on the brain. Ting, 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 ting. Yes. Where was I? So he was in Three, and I was like, oh, he was in Three Amigos. Okay, yeah, he's one of the German guys. And then it finally clicked. He used the word plethora. And that movie is where, if you grew up in the 80s, that's where you learn what the plethora was, because of a scene in that movie. And I'm like, did he just give a little nod to another movie he was in yours?
It almost seems like it. It's like, it's like, well, that's where he learned the word plethora as well.
Yes.
Because in the Three Amigos,
gifts.
There's the main bad guy's name's El Guapo. And he is asking his second in command, named Jefe. It's like, do I have a lot of piñatas? And Jefe says, yeah, you got a lot. He says, do you think I would have a plethora of piñatas? And he goes, yes, I would say you have a plethora. He says, do you know what a plethora is? And he says, I don't think you would, you should use the word if you don't know what it means.
Yeah, so how can you say somebody has a plethora if you don't know what a plethora is?
Right. Every Gen Xer learned the word plethora from that movie.
There was a lot from that movie you start quoting when you were a kid.
So, if you haven't seen it, Chevy Chase, Martin Short, Steve Martin, great movie. But yeah, Norbert Weiser plays a German man, Avi, but he's also one of the villains, and he's kind of like a tertiary character and doesn't have much dialogue. But yeah, he's in it, and he just clicked with you. It's like, he used the word plethora, and he was in that movie that used the word plethora.
I was like, he was messing with you in that as well. He's like, I don't know whether he was or not, whether it was conscious or unconscious, but it was like, I like this guy. He's cool.
And we are very grateful to him, not only because he challenged us and actually turned this video series into what it is. And we have gotten a number of comments that have been very appreciative and really saying how very much positive. They liked.
And we thank you guys.
And we thank all of you for the comments so far. Please continue to watch and comment. But Norbert also, with these photos and especially the pictures of the script pages, we can't thank you enough, because they're really, really cool. And it's just nice to see a piece of behind the scenes that I personally have never seen before. And it's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. That's something about this movie. I think this is why personally, I think this is why it became such a classic, is that even in the early 80s, everyone working on it, especially John Carpenter, were very aware there were already horror movie tropes. And I think he tried, there's some you can't avoid using. because especially like we talk about, why did Knowles go off alone? It's a great way to thin out the cast. Or why did everybody separate? It's because it's a great way to thin out the cast. But I think they were so hyper aware that let's try not to give it away right away. Let's try not to make it a man in a suit. Let's try not to, At first everybody does stick together for a while, and that's where you're going to talk about some dropped plot lines too that were gone.
Yeah, when it comes to sticking together, in the original script, and it's also in the novelization because the novelization is based on the script.
And there's some bits of it that lingered or still made it to the movie. That
made it left over into the movie. When they realized what the threat was and they realized the stakes involved, they actually had a plan where nobody went off alone. They stayed in pairs or threes, and everybody stayed in the rec room. But they still had day-to-day things to do.
Yeah, you still have to make sure your experiments are running and everything else.
Well, a lot of other stuff too, and just basically maintain the base. And so basically, they were only at the script. According to the script, they were only allowed to leave in 20-minute increments because in the story itself, they realized that the creature takes time to make a copy of a person. They said hour to hour and a half, I think. So it's like, well, if they're gone 20 minutes, there's no way somebody could have been assimilated and come back as an imitation. So, and I said they would sound the alarm, 20 minutes, get back here. And if you were not back in time, they would kill you.
Mm.
And you see that a little bit when they went to go look for Fuchs. He says, Norris, if any of them move, you fry them. And if you hear anything at all, you cut loose on the sirens. And that was the siren that he's talking about, was when they said every 20 minutes they'd have to come back. Then they're out doing stuff, and one of the creatures sabotages the generator, and the lights go out. Childs is watching Clark, Gary, and Copper.
Again, this is all stuff that was cut.
This is all cut out. It was in the script. I don't even know if they actually shot any of this. And the light before the lights go out, though, Clark says he needs to go to the bathroom. Clark's in the toilet. Childs is trying to keep an eye on them, and also the guy's tied to the couch. And then the lights go out, and he's like, "Shit!" So he's trying to keep an eye on Clark. He says, "Clark, you there? You there?" He's not answering. Palmer and Mac go to the basement to take care of the generator because they say the stakes are high. Because if the generator is not up and running in 30 minutes, it's going to be dead and they'll freeze. So they have to fix it. Windows at one point was with them, I think, if I remember correctly, and he has a panic and he runs off, or something to that effect. And then the lights come back on, and Gary's gone. He somehow got out of being tied up and out of the rec room. And then basically everything settles down, but they don't know who sabotaged the generator, but everybody's back where there should be. And it's like, "Gary, where did you go?" And he says, I can't remember his reasoning. I'm reading the script, I can't remember his reasoning for getting up and leaving.
But what's still in the movie is when Knowles comes back and I cut McCready loose, and that's when he's like, "Oh, the lights were out, and you said people were missing, and windows, where were you?" Mm-hmm. That's part of that cut storyline.
That's alluding to that situation. Because if you remember Fuchs...
Or even just before, where they ask Palmer, how long have they been out there? He goes, "Too long." Because it's past that 20-minute mark. That's supposed to be...
Well, he says, how long have they been out there? 40, 45 minutes. Yeah,
and that's too long. All so, right. So that's all part of that drop storyline.
That plan that they had. So it's very interesting when you see, bits of the script that make it in, but the whole plot line is kind of not fully fleshed out anymore because certain scenes were dropped. But going back to the tropes, one of the things a lot of people applaud the movie about is a common horror trope. It's mentioned in the movie Evolution, I think 1999. David Duchovny and Orlando Jones are scientists at a small community college, Meteor Lands, and they go out there to collect specimens. And David Duchovny's like, grab that. And Orlando Jones is like, no. I've seen this movie. I've seen horror movies. Black dude dies first. You go get that. So, yeah, that's the common trope.
That was done in parodies of it. Even in Scream, they talk about it.
Right.
And Keith David himself even said, he goes, "I'm the black guy that made it to the end." Right.
And it is a common trope in a number of horror movies and sometimes even other movies where the person of color is basically a lot of times is the token minority, and they're the ones killed off either first or second. Mm-hmm. And
along with whoever had a nude scene or had sex.
Right. And So Carpenter turns around and completely subverts those tropes because the two men of color make it to the final 5 characters, and then Keith David makes it to the final 2, the 2 actually who survive the creature, but not necessarily survive overall. Mm. But he makes it to the final 2. So again, defying the classic tropes and making his own story instead of trying to follow in line with everybody else. And he says he didn't want the guy in the suit. He says Alien was a great movie, but it's still just a guy in a suit. This creature, there's no way in hell that's a guy in a suit.
No, it's just a guy and a guy, or it might not be a guy.
It's not a guy at all.
But nobody ever really mentioned it, dude. We talked a little bit earlier about how there's no women on set. The whole trope about you have either the girl who's like the pure virgin one who's going to win in the end,
yeah, and then the final girl,
the slutty friend who's usually the one that you either see her in a shower scene, you see her in her underwear, you literally see her boobs, or they're the one having sex, and they're usually the ones that get killed early on as well. Right. So it's like whether it was conscious or not, or whether he meant it or not, he also missed that trope.
Yeah, avoided those.
And then you don't have the dumb jock.
No,
you really don't have that because. None of these people would be in an Antarctica station if they were not experts.
Remember, in Volume 3, we were reading some of the reviews, and I think it was Roger Ebert was the one that said he had a couple of tropey-type characters, the hippie and the drunkard, and I don't see that. I mean,
well,
Palmer to a certain degree is like the burnout hippie.
But he's also an expert mechanic, and he's learning to fly a helicopter. You can't be an idiot and do that.
Exactly.
Stuff. You can't be, don't tip your water. You can't be so burnt out you have no idea what you're doing. Right. No, it's not. And there's also like drop story ideas about Elise McCready being a former chopper pilot in Nam. Most likely a lot of those guys would have been in Vietnam. Mm. They're not healthy coping mechanisms, but they are.
Right.
Pot, alcohol, all that is usually a way people cope with
self-medicating with trauma. Yeah.
Yeah. So you might want to say it's tropey, but it also does kind of fit with the time and who these people would have been.
Right. Exactly.
But even some of the tropes you avoid, we talked about it with Joel Polis, was like until later, everybody's just like, well, let's stick together. You don't see people wandering off. Well, I'm not going to go chasing after this alone. I'm not going to do this. They do avoid tropes to a point. Mm-hmm. But when they start adding people going alone, like Joel Fuchs going out into the snow by himself, it also makes sense for them to have been so stressed out, sleep deprived, that you're not really thinking straight.
Well, yeah, that's also true.
And the other thing is, this is just my joke, is they had no stairs to run up into the attic to get away from it. It's like, let's run upstairs where we're stuck and can't, what are you going to do? Leap to your death out the window? I mean, come on.
Right.
Why don't we get into that car that's running? No, let's go hide behind the chainsaw. I was like,
yes, that's a good idea.
You're right. Yeah, so it is one of those movies that doesn't have excessive tropes, and I think they were very conscious of that. As we see, some of the death scenes that were supposed to happen.
They can't avoid them entirely, but
no,
some of them they have been able to avoid and make a quality film.
And the other thing he didn't do, and I'm just more like Dean Cundy. You even see it now when there's going to be a jump scare. Like, seriously, guys, because you're obviously horror fans watching this. How many times do you see?
Oh, yes.
Like, you have the main actor who's in the scene, their center screen, and then suddenly the camera just tilts a little bit to like the open doorway, and you're like, "Yep, jump scare coming." Mm-hmm. They didn't do that in this movie. They left it, and then boom, it's there.
No, the older movies, no, they had the jump scare. They didn't try to set it up.
They even did that in The Fog, where there's a scene where was it Hal Holbrook's character, the priest, just kind of boom out of the darkness, and it's like,
that was a creepy shot. That really was.
And he's not even the bad guy. He's just like, boom, there. It's like, jeez.
Literally, I don't know how they shot that, but yeah, he was in total darkness, and then the lady comes into the church, "Excuse me, Father," and he's like, shut.
So yeah, the jump scare, they knew to like not telegraph the jump scare, which was another thing you appreciate about this film. That's why a lot of people say it is a masterclass in horror, because they were aware of these things. Don't tip your hand.
Mm-hmm. Alrighty. One of my pet peeves about some of the videos I've seen about, or even some internet posts about the movie, is when referring to the shot that Gary takes to eliminate the Norwegian gunman, Lars, as it turns out to be based on the prequel.
There hasn't been a lot of people complaining about this, but there was a few.
Yeah, and one video in particular, I don't remember what channel it was on, but they referred to that as a cowardly act. I'm like, seriously? Because from my standpoint and our standpoints, like, he did what I think was appropriate, where he's from a position where the gunman doesn't see him. He smashes the window because he's the guy shooting up the place. You got to deal with it quickly. And
he's already shot one of your people.
Mm-hmm. Excuse me. And so he lines up his shot and takes it. And then,
from safety, from cover.
Concealment. Right. It's now referred to as the Mo Green special, where he takes it right in the eye. That's from The Godfather, apparently.
Apparently, he hasn't watched it.
No. But like I said, to me, it never seemed cowardly. It seemed very appropriate. So I posed the question on Reddit. I'm fairly new to Reddit. The Thing community on Reddit is very cool, very supportive. And some people, I even said, it's like, why smash the window? Because it's so cold, but accidents happen. I'm sure they have ways of replacing windows should it be smashed accidentally or on purpose in this particular case. So to me, that was something where it's like, it's an emergency situation. You got to deal with it as quickly as you can.
Well, yeah, you don't want, okay, so what was the alternative? The guy's shooting up the place. He's already shot someone probably from Gary's vantage point, he doesn't know that Billings was shot in the leg. He just hears gunshot and sees the guy drop.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody scrambling. Why would you, especially he's a base commander, clearly he's got some sort of military or police background. Why would you now just run out into the middle of everything and give the guy another target?
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
You were going to just knock out the window and take the shot from safety and concealment. My father's a police officer. My one uncle was a hunter and a sharpshooter. So I do have, I have osmosis learning.
Mm-hmm. And so when I posed the question on Reddit, a number of people said, yeah, they felt that he acted appropriately. And one person here from Reddit, Class 158.
You're allowed to use this, yes?
Yes, I asked him specifically for this, that I was okay if I could use this post. And he says, law enforcement here, you'll see it on the screen. Law enforcement here, everything you said was exactly spot on. He recognized the gunman was shooting towards his crew members, so deadly force immediately becomes authorized. He was able to get an accurate shot off from behind cover and concealment, meaning not only was he protected from return fire, but also could not be seen by the gunman. Now, I cannot tell you exactly how far he was from the Norwegian, but I will say that shooting a pistol from beyond 25 yards requires some skill. Him being in that concealed position allowed him to properly line up his sights, control his breathing, and get a nice smooth trigger pull, all while being able to see where his crew members were and where the gunman's position. He literally did everything right in the scenario at the cost of one window. So
everybody gets always smashed a window. A window or a life, dude. What do you want?
Exactly. So you got somebody with an assault rifle shooting up the place. You don't know what's going on at this stage. Yeah, okay, in retrospect, he was trying to save everybody from the dogs. But you didn't know that at the time. That was the whole point of the scene.
Just some loony shot. Well, that's all they know is some loony shooting a dog and shot one of your people and is shooting wildly at camp. So, yeah, you don't know what's going on. And the other guy blowing up the chopper.
Right.
Yeah, like he says, deadly force is instantly apparent. So, yeah, it's, I never knew that was, in question. Until you start reading people's comments on the movie, and it's like, okay, wow.
Yeah, and like I said, sometimes people said, well, why do that? It's like, why not? It's like, it just didn't make sense to me.
It's a tactical maneuver. It's and according to this one gentleman, that's, I don't want to say textbook, but it's what you would be trained to do.
Right.
I've always said the fact that Gary had the confidence with a handgun that I can get him from here, just knock out the window and I'm good. Mm-hmm. That's some balls.
Right. I don't have the note in front of me, but I remember looking it up. The pistol he used if I remember correctly, is a Colt Trooper Mark III. It's a .357 caliber pistol, and what I understand is, looking it up, is actually a fairly accurate weapon. So at the range you see, which you don't really get to see, but it is some distance. It doesn't look like he wasn't like 3 feet away. So it was a fairly accurate weapon, and if I remember correctly, it was mainly marketed to police. So, and at the time, automatic weapons weren't standard issue, like semi-automatics and that kind of stuff. They were not very common in law enforcement at the time. So that's why you have the 6-shooter as marketing being marketed to police.
Yeah, my father was Central Jersey police officer, and I think it was the late 80s, maybe even early 90s. He got his automatic weapon, or they were allowed to use.
Do you remember what kind it was?
No. I know he went from a little, like, 6-shoot revolver to actual having, like, a clip.
Okay.
And then that's when my parents separated, and I have no idea.
Right.
That had nothing to do with separation, by the way. It was just, the odd timing thing. See, it was like late 80s, early 90s when, like, police in Central Jersey were suddenly given that.
Yeah, so we're not, she and I aren't tactical experts. We do have a small degree of knowledge, but here is someone from a law enforcement background really validating what we thought and what a lot of other people think is the same thing. It's like, that was the appropriate, smart thing to do. So not cowardly at all. So yeah, you're not going to run out there and make yourself a target.
No.
Just for whatever. Oh, I don't want to break a window. It's like, come on. Plus, it's all more dramatic. It's very cinematic. I gotta smash the window. So,
what do the heroes do when they're trying to jump off a 50-story building? Smash the window and jump. We can tie this fire hose. We'll survive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I remember seeing the ad for Die Hard when you see him jumping off the building and he has that fire hose wrapped around him. I thought it was like toilet paper or something. It's like, what is that wrapped around him? What is he jumping on or jumping with? I didn't. I just. I was a kid at the time. So
I was going to say, you're a kid, you weren't a firefighter yet, so.
So, yes.
All right, now, wait, side point. As a firefighter, that wouldn't have held, would it?
I don't know. It's tough to tell.
Could you have even tied, like, that hose, is it even flexible enough to tie?
No, because it wasn't the rubber jacketed stuff that I'm used to. It was more of the cottony type stuff. And it was fairly thick. No, it's probably not very realistic, but it's very cinematic.
Yeah, so, yeah.
So, there you have it. Gary shot, from the experts. It was the appropriate thing to do. So, I don't know why some people have an issue with it. And it's such a small part of the film, why people pick on that, but it's the thing. We nitpick every little minute frame of detail, so that's what we do.
And that's what this project is doing, is trying to help you understand. Like, no, it wasn't cowardice.
No.
We even have a clip. I found a clip in the Sherlock television series where he's talking about Watson, like that kind of fits it perfectly.
Oh, yes.
The bullet they just dug out of the walls from a handgun. Kill shot over that distance from that kind of a weapon, that's a crack shot you're looking for, but not just a marksman. A fighter, his hands couldn't have shaken the tool, so clearly he's acclimatized to violence. He didn't fire until I was in immediate danger, though, so strong moral principle. You're looking for a man probably with a history of military service and nerves of steel. Actually, do you know what? Ignore me.
Sorry?
Ignore all of that. It's just the shock talking.
One other little thing I want to tell you about is that there's an update on one of the fan-made films that I was curious about when we were doing Volume 3, when we talked about John Carpenter's The Thing Legacy. And I had reached out to them. They didn't get back to me. But then on Reddit, I discovered that a person had created a student film doing a different version of the scene where they were noticed that Fuchs was missing and they were putting together a party to go find him. And I asked him, is it all right if I use some footage from this? And he said, fine. But he says, but I also did a different one. And he gave me a link to the thing that I saw before. And I said, oh, I remember that. And I said, I tried commenting to see if I could get a hold of it. And he said, oh, I was, he's busy with school and everything. So now we can show you some clips. You give us full permission to use clips from the student film and the other earlier thing. So yeah, we'll show a few clips here, but also there will be links to the stuff so you can look at it. It's actually quite clever. It's really interesting. So yeah, it's a little update. So yeah, there's a lot of interesting, fan films or little things where they remake a scene or they, stylize in a way or come up with a different version of events. So yeah, there's plenty to look out for out there. So go ahead and just check it out. Another little tidbit you'll find interesting is that Universal Pictures was fined as a result of the type of credit they gave to Rob Bottin. Stuart Cohen writes a little bit about it. It's a very small blurb in his blog, and we'll put a link in the description, but I'll read it here. Rob Bottin's credit was the subject of much discussion and negotiation with the makeup union at the time. We were warned if we used the word effects after makeup as well as the word created, there would be a penalty involved. We honestly couldn't come up with another way to accurately phrase Rob's contribution to the film, and as a result, Universal was fined $25,000. So I wanted to expand on this, and I wanted to find out a little bit more about it. So I found it on the AFI website, and I'm going to pull it up in just a moment. What the union took issue with was the term special makeup effects created and designed by Rob Bottin. What that issue is that he did not do makeup on people. It was the creature effects. And the makeup union at the time was like, no, it has to be on people. So they went to an arbiter. The arbiter said yes, they agreed with the union. And according to the AFI website, that they were fined $10,000, the Universal Pictures was. And then they appealed it to a federal judge, and a judge upheld the arbiter's ruling, and so Universal had to pay the $10,000. I'm not entirely sure what the discrepancy was as far as the AFI article saying that it was $10,000 fine and Stuart Cohen saying it was $25,000 fine. I don't know where the difference comes from. I've tried asking Stuart Cohen, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet, so we'll see how that goes.
All right, do I need to tie you down, hold your hands, or keep you under control in any way, shape, or form for this?
Maybe.
Do you need medication for this?
You have the police on speed dial. And do you have the jar of Xanax ready to go? All right.
Do you need to take any meds beforehand?
Here come my hot takes.
First hot take, J&B is harsh. Don't drink it.
Oh, my God.
I got it for you. I'm so glad I got you those little mini bottles.
The airline bottles, yeah. If you're not a fan of whiskey and you're not, or hard liquor, I'm more of like a bourbon guy where it's nice and smooth. This J&B stuff, that was kind of harsh, I'll tell you. So if you never had it, I don't recommend it, honestly. But it is
Bacardi 151 and razor blades going down.
So, but if you want to try it, go for it. I won't stop you.
I recommend getting that little one because you were so into Thing one time. I just got that little one, put it in your stock. He's like, here, try it. If you like it, then I'll get you a bigger one. I'm glad I got the little one. Breathing fire, farting fire there, And he said that stuff was harsh. Maybe it's better as a mixer, but
I don't know.
I mean, that is why we have cocktails now.
But it is a classic drink. It's very popular.
Harsh liquor was hidden by cocktails during the Prohibition, and that's why we have so many mixed drinks now.
Mm-hmm.
See, my useless information.
But it's not useless then.
It's not useless now. I'm really great at trivia nights, people. If you ever want to win,
we'll team up. Yeah. The other hot take I have when it comes to a number of style of YouTube videos. The first one.
Monitor your voice control on this and monitor your.
This one really burns my ass because I've seen so many.
What really grinds my gears?
What some people refer to as low effort videos. Basically, the images or the video is generated by AI. The voiceover and the text, like the dialogue, is all generated by AI.
And I won't say I completely and totally hate AI. It does have its uses.
Right. It's just, John Carpenter referred to CGI as a tool, and it has its place. Same thing with artificial intelligence generated things. It has a place. But they're talking about these low effort videos, because I've seen a number of them where it's one video showed images. I think some of it was like images from the movie itself.
Watch it. Your voice is getting a little loud.
I got to calm down. Some of the images were from the movie itself, but basically it was an AI voice reading verbatim the IMDb trivia for the movie. And that's it. That was just total crap. Another one, it generated this weird thing where it talked about how the cast was psychologically damaged by, John Carpenter and his harsh treatment. It was just complete falsehoods, complete bullshit. And
trying to sensationalize and rage bait or something?
I don't know, but people are putting this crap out, and and it doesn't make sense. It's full of lies. It's not even like
easy.
I gotta calm down. It's not even like they make a mistake.
We're not even close friends with Stuart and Norbert, and yet we're defending
we have to
them.
Fiercely defend them. But it's all crap, and it's just lies. It's not even like mistakes. It's just flat out lies. And I use AI. A couple times earlier in the series, I mentioned about asking Chat GPT to generate images of what it felt the original creature looked like. The blue skin, the red eyes, the wormy hair. I don't have the artisticness to draw this. Kala is a great artist, but she just didn't have the time.
I'm also out of practice. I'm trying to desperately get back into practice.
And some of the things you've made for a different video are looking really nice. I really do appreciate you doing that.
Again, Sellsword Arts. We're going to make a video for them.
Check it out.
They don't know. They don't know this.
They don't know yet. But that's in the work.
You can cut that out if you need to.
But AI also, we had this humorous thing where it was talking about what if Kurt Russell made another escape from something, and I said escape from the nursing home. And I asked, again, Chat GPT to create a couple of silly images on him on a rocket wheelchair. Stupid stuff like that. That I think
with Margot Robbie as his nurse in tow.
Toting a big ass gun. No, that I think is where AI has a place where it allows you to come up with things. And it says, I sat there and said I'm full disclosure. It's an AI generated. Yeah. I didn't create this myself. I asked ChatGPT to do it because I thought it was something silly.
But some of these people who they have the AI do everything, right, and it's just reading text. Apparently, I think it happened in August, and it's an AI going after AI. YouTube upped not just their algorithm, but they actually have something that goes through, and they are going to actually get rid of a lot of this content. Yeah, they're not this content, that content.
The low effort content, whereas the people are just allowing AI to generate everything for them, because they feel that it does not have a place, and it's
not a real creation.
No, it's not creative in any way. It's not putting any real work or effort, and people are trying to get views out of this. There's one.
But we say AI is a tool. I even listen to certain music that's done by AI. It's amazing. It's beautiful. But that person is putting work into it, and AI is working. They're working together.
Well, one of the guys we follow, he's a YouTuber that mainly does a particular video game called World of Tanks Blitz. Lately, he's doing more stuff with music and that kind of stuff. And
he wrote us a theme song. We're not using it in this series.
We're not using it in this series, but he wrote in some of our other videos. He wrote us the theme song, and it's AI generated, but the lyrics are his.
Yeah.
But the AI took it from there and created the music and the vocalization.
Well, because quite honestly, I don't want to get too involved in this, but quite honestly, sometimes when it's like he wrote it, he doesn't have the money or the time to hire an orchestra or a band or someone to rehearse it and do it. That's where AI works. Mm-hmm. Because it's part you and it's part, I ain't got the time or money for this.
Right. So AI has a place. And I think when people do these low effort videos, it just damages the credibility of their creators. And also it steals away from people who are like this video here. No, we did research. I mean, hours and hours, days and days and weeks of research put into this video.
Time, effort, funds.
Right. And so, that's what it says. It's crap. And so I really don't like them. And hopefully YouTube will start to scrub them out.
Which also leads to, you're using the word crap a lot. Crap, 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 crap.
Look around you. Crap, crap, crap. Crap, 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 crap.
Put that clip in. Because He's literally see your list.
Yeah, crap AI videos, crap info videos, crap reaction videos.
Because you had one where somebody said something and they had the information backwards. It's something about even just the locations.
Oh yeah.
And he goes, "I don't care." It's like,
right.
So why are you're just what?
Because there's a number of videos out there. Because I
10
call them
things you didn't know about the thing.
Right.
You're right. I didn't know because they're not true.
They're not accurate. And one particular video did a number of things where a lot of the information he put forth was wrong.
And we will not be naming fingers and pointing names.
No, I'm not going to name them because I don't want to give them views. But one particular fact he mentioned about Wilford Brimley took a biology course because his character was a biologist. That's
we know from our interview with Joel Polis.
We interviewed Joel Polis, who played Fuchs. He's the one that did that, not us. And
what for?
I didn't. Some other person called them out and says, "Hey, by the way, this stuff is wrong." And the guy goes, says you.
It's like, no, says the actual guy, but the actor. I just thought Wilford Brimley did not take the biology course. He looked at Joel Polis and went, "Well, this is about rubber and steam." I love Joel's interpretations.
Please go see Joel Polis' interview. He does a funny impression of Wilford about the whole situation. Is really cool. But yeah, again, we've did a lot of research into this video series, and we tried very hard to make sure everything is as accurate as possible.
And if it wasn't, we would say it's opinion, or we could not confirm it.
Or if we do happen to get something wrong down the road, we will obviously acknowledge that. As far as I can tell, everything we have been done is as accurate as possible.
Unless it's opinion, which...
Yeah, our opinions are our opinions. It's not fact.
Yeah, we full disclose that this is opinion.
Right. But when you're putting out a video saying, so many facts that you may not have known or you find surprising or shocking.
You're right.
I do believe you have a certain duty to put forth the effort and make sure your stuff is accurate.
There's a lot of people out there that don't. They just want to get money and that's
right.
It.
They just want to get the views, so they just put out random shit. And I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's how it is.
Oh my God, Pete! You mean there's falsehoods and lies on the internet?
Yes, not everything on the internet is true. So, again, that's my hot take. That's what it is. Now, the last one is, last few years I've seen a number of reaction videos to movies crop up. And a great many channels are doing this now. And a lot of them, a vast majority of them, are very entertaining to watch, especially when I was watching everybody react to The Thing. A couple channels stand out. That makes me feel like they're being somewhat dishonest in the fact that
you can clearly tell
some of the guesses they are making about what would happen in the movie are a little too on the nose for them to have never seen it before. Even though, except there's a number of them saying, I saw this years ago when I was a kid or when I was younger.
And that I'm fine with, be honest.
But they disclose it right up ahead of time. A couple of channels, they literally have said, we never saw this before.
And yet they are using term-specific or movie-specific terms very early on and saying things like...
I said...
And you can also see the reactions are very funny.
Right. The reactions are kind of downplayed where you can see that they're not reacting genuinely to what's going on.
I highly recommend they take an acting class like Thomas Waite's acting. You can just go to New York City.
Thomas G. Waite Studio, New York City.
Yeah, right. If you really want to make it look like you're actually reacting when you haven't.
Right. One particular one stands out is, like I said, they claim they have never seen the movie before.
We're not naming names, so just...
No, because I don't want to give them views. But
not just that. I also don't...
I don't want people
we're calling
to
out
demonize
people
them
in
either.
general. Yeah, it's just...
I don't want people to go after them. I don't want that either.
No.
But one person actually said, well, just put the blood in a petri dish and jab it with a needle.
Yeah, you've seen it before.
Just, come on. That's like so on the nose about what happens in the blood test. That clearly he's seen it before, or maybe he's seen the blood test scene before or something. But to go there and say we went in there cold and never saw anything before, sorry, it's horseshit.
Or somebody used the term assimilated when they were looking at the dog. It's like, oh, has it been assimilated? It's like, dude, opening scene and you say that?
Mm-hmm.
I ain't buying it. But a lot of them were. There was one, I cannot remember her name, but she looks like Hermione Granger. She's adorable, and she was. I just went, honey, you shouldn't have watched that alone, sweetheart. Here, hold my hand. I felt so bad because she just was like.
I can't remember the channel name. We'll put it below.
We will name that, and then what was it? There was that other one where the girl kicked her shoes off. And we showed them earlier.
Oh yeah, we showed them in another episode.
What were they called?
They're called the Normies.
Yeah.
And when they were watching the thing, I want to say Tara, but I know that's not right. But she's the one all the way on the left. Yeah, she got scared and she kicked off her shoes and hit her feet up like this. Like,
yeah. If she had a bucket of popcorn, she'd be hiding her face behind it.
Right.
Yeah, we don't mind naming them because they are good content. They're genuine. They're also funny, and they
are engaging and funny.
Yeah, and they do try to do some research when they're explaining the films. And they do give it a fair shake. But yeah, some of them are a bit like... And I can understand you want to prep for something, but then be honest about it. And don't be so phony. Or if you're going to be phony, you better be a much better actor than what you're doing right now.
Right. Now, because some of the commentary and the reactions are pretty priceless. They're pretty funny.
On the genuine ones.
Yes.
Especially the Norse scene. That gets everybody.
The jump scare with the blood jumping out of the petri dish, Norris's chest and stomach cracking open.
Even the thing with the dog, I can't watch. Well, there's two reasons I can't watch that. One, it's just far.
It's too realistic.
Rob Bottin and Stan Winston, rest in peace, did such an amazing job in that. My heart breaks and I can't watch it. But at the same time, Ollie, our dogs were once attacked and Galahad was bitten. Ever since then, they can't even see another dog on TV without losing their shit. Yeah. So we can't watch that because of Ollie. So he starts barking when he sees a dog running into camp. But the dog kennel scene, we just don't watch because of that. And then again, I can't watch Tom Waits cutting into his thumb because it's like, why?
No, the fingers and toes, you don't like that.
No. Fingers, toes, or teeth. Like, no.
Is it safe?
Yeah, right. I mean, Dracula getting fangs, that's not somebody ripping out teeth.
And my last hot take for this one is it's not a stinking remake. It's called The Thing, just like the 51 movie.
It's an homage.
It's an homage to that movie. It's Stuart Cohen. I asked him point blank. People call it a remake. He says, no, it is not.
And it's not how he sold it to the studio either. No. We talked about that in part one.
It's, I forget his exact term.
Retelling? Or reimagining?
Something to that effect. And
I think you have it here. Because you had posted this in the forum.
I'll put his response up on the screen.
That, but also there was another gentleman, because you put it in a forum. It says, do you feel it's a remake or not? And someone... I think you still have it.
Yes.
He said, when you do a Dracula, nobody ever calls that a remake because there's a book, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Nobody ever says, oh, that's a remake. When you do Frankenstein, because it's based off of Mary Shelley's, nobody ever calls it, oh, it's yet another Frankenstein remake. So it's like, it's the same. Just because the source material, the source book or the source material is the same, does not make the movie, your interpretation of that source material, a remake off of a different movie that used the same source.
Right.
All right, I just went, whoa.
Well, because basically he was saying, like, his specific example was Bram Stoker's Dracula. The book was written in 1895, I believe. So many movies that are called Dracula are based on that book. They're not remakes of like the 31 movie that came out or anything like that. They're all adaptations of that original source. And he points out the movie RoboCop because that was an original screenplay. It was not based on any other media. So when they did a newer version later on in the 2010s, I think.
Michael Keaton was in it.
I remember where he's like a remake because it's a retelling of an original screenplay, not a literary work.
RoboCop 2014.
Okay, so that's a remake because you're retelling an original screenplay. No, John Carpenter's The Thing is a reimagination of Who Goes There. It's based on that. It's not based on the 51 film.
Even though he did homages to it, it was because it was one of his favorite films, and because there are things in the 51 film that are from the book.
Right.
And there are things in his, so it's sort of like, because you go back to the original source material, you just can't miss it because, well, that's, the book is canon, so you take that.
Now, if you want to talk about something more fairly recent, the new movie Nosferatu, that technically is a partial remake because it's based on the screenplay from
22?
Nosferatu from 1922, a silent movie. It was called Nosferatu, A Symphony of Horror. So it's a partial remake because it says, the movie itself says it's based on that screenplay, but also it's partially based on Bram Stoker's Dracula.
But because there was still copyright at the time.
Which the 1922 Nosferatu was also based on, but they did not have the rights to use the name or anything specific.
That's why you can't say Dracula. You can't use Jonathan Harker. You can't use Mina. You can't use
That's why,
Lucy.
It's Count Orlok, not Count Dracula. Yeah. So it's the same story, but
at least they didn't do Alucard. It's like, it's funny because we were talking about Monster Squad this morning, and also it's in Discworld's Carpe Jugulum because they say, why do vampires always just think we're so dumb we don't know you're spelling it backwards?
Right, Alucard.
Or something else or whatever.
Mr. Alucard. You mean Dracula? That's funny.
So that's those are remakes, and there's nothing wrong with a remake or reimagining or retelling. I mean, there is so much fan fiction out there because everybody has their opinion that something was done wrong.
And honestly, I don't know why it gets my hackles up that people call it a remake. I think it's just my ADHD. I get very pedantic, and
you being neurodivergent.
It's not a remake. So if someone says it is,
being neurodivergent, you have this odd sense of justice as well to make sure you're using the wrong term.
And I feel like because this is my favorite movie, I feel like I need to guard it, protect it, and gatekeep a little bit. So I do apologize if I get a little preachy or that kind of stuff about all of this. But
I've been like, dude, chill out.
Yeah. So those are the hot takes. This next segment is discussing life in Antarctica. As many of you know who are very familiar with the movie, the filmmakers really weren't super concerned about being very accurate about what goes on in Antarctica and that kind of stuff. As evidenced by that, you don't really know what the guys are doing there. The day-to-day life, why they were there, the research they were doing wasn't important, so they didn't bother including it in the story.
Well, you get a rough idea. Norris is a geologist.
Right. And then many of you do know that, due to a particular treaty, firearms aren't allowed on the continent. The flamethrowers aren't used in that way. So we're going to go into a bit more depth,
It's winter, there's no sunlight,
about what life in Antarctica is a little bit. Give you a little taste of that. Kala did a great deal of research, so she's going to start going into all of that.
All right, so in general, it is the coldest, driest, windiest continent. Temperatures reach negative 60 Celsius. It's negative 76 Fahrenheit, and that does not include a wind chill factor. The weather is unpredictable, and it is the largest desert on Earth. The 30-year rainfall total is only 10 millimeters, which is about 0.4 inches. The entire continent is actually one large nature preserve.
Which is very interesting. That's really cool.
So that's what the research, that's why there's a treaty. The research gets restricted. Visitors get restricted, everything. Most of the drinking water or useful water at all comes from basically just melting ice. Food is either dehydrated or canned. So there's research facilities. McMurdo is one that you hear mentioned in the movie, and it actually is it's the jumping off point for everyone.
Yes. I had the privilege of actually bumping into someone while at work, a fellow nurse. She come in to help on the unit, and I saw that she had a sweatshirt on, and it said McMurdo. And I was like, did you actually work at McMurdo? She goes, yeah, she was there for a whole year as a firefighter EMT. So I was like, well, I'm going to definitely be picking your brain. And I told her about this project, the movie, and everything. And yeah, she said that McMurdo Station is basically, it's the central hub for the whole Antarctica. He says all countries come there. It's a jumping off point, and then they go to their individual research stations and that kind of stuff. In the summertime, it can swell up to several thousand. over winter, she says it's roughly about 200.
When I looked everything up, the current salary for like the early 2020s for Americans, it wasn't giving me information for what other countries may pay. So the average salary is anywhere from $65,000 to $100,000 a year. And bear in mind, that's like your money. You don't, you're not paying for rent because you live there. You live there in a dorm. You're not paying. You can pay for food. I mean, they have like a basic cafeteria that gives you like set meals for the day, but then you can buy, if you don't want that, you can buy something else, or you can buy snacks or desserts or extras. She said there's also a few bars at McMurdo, so
Yeah, she said there's a couple of bars.
It's not open bar. The stuff is not going to be free.
Alcohol is definitely not free.
No.
She said one place was a bit more on the rowdy side, the other one was a bit more on the calm side, so depending on what kind of crowd you're interested in.
Depending on what you're looking for that night.
Yeah.
I had a rough day in the lab. I need a fight tonight. No. So you actually do have to be employed there. You can't live there. It's not like, let me go move to Antarctica. It's not.
Yeah, it's not. You can't make it a permanent residence.
There is no hotel, but they do have cruises that go down, and you can take a cruise only, which is going to cost you. The time I researched this, $12,000 a person, and that's just a cruise, just to kind of like stand on the deck and look at Antarctica. If you want to go and actually stay, you would wind up at like McMurdo, or most likely there, or one of the other maybe research stations if they want to. But you have to pay for a permit. You have to get permission. You have to pay for a permit. It can be anywhere from $6,000 to $29,000 for the permit just to go. That's just to be able to go stay. To actually put feet on the ground there. Right.
That's something relatively new. The nurse, when she told me when she was there in 81, at that time, that was not a thing. This is something relatively new.
81?
1980, 81.
Oh, wow. Way back then.
Yes. That's
right at the time the movie's getting made.
Pretty much, yeah. That wasn't a thing back then. That's something relatively new now where they have, like, you can have these excursions and go there. At one point, it just simply wasn't allowed.
Yeah, so it's like if you want to go, it's going to cost you some coin.
Seriously.
And as I understand, the cruise down it's very rough seas, even in summertime when the weather is pleasant.
Relatively speaking.
Yeah, considering it is extraordinarily rough seas to actually get down there. So yeah, it's you really must want to go if you want to spend that kind of money and lose your lunch on that boat ride. Dangers down there are frostbite, dehydration, hypothermia, snowblind, toothache, sunburn, altitude sickness, ski accidents, and cabin fever. So that's just for the workers, and if you want to visit, consider that.
Yeah.
But as we said, it's interesting. It seemed like she had a lot of fun though.
We said the salary at this time was like $65,000 to $100,000. It was probably definitely not the same when she was there.
No, but it's like your parents giving you an allowance.
Yeah,
that's
all money
yours.
In pocket, but she also worked 80-hour weeks.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So because she was a firefighter EMT, and she was also part of the standby crew. Whenever a plane landed or took off, they were on standby in case something happened. And you were practically on call. So. You could practically be working an awful lot, but you get to keep all that money.
And you said that like when they got time off or the break between, because it was like a 12 or 13 month. That's the other thing is if you want to go work down there as a researcher, it's a 12 to 13 month commitment.
For researchers, yes, but for her and other people who do like some of the different types of jobs, she said there were doctors who would go down there just to do like almost janitorial work, just for the experience of saying, I was in Antarctica.
Oh, wow.
And you can do that. You can work the summer. So you can go down there.
So you can do 6 months.
And then
6 months?
6 months.
6 months.
Even 7 months. But yeah, you can go from October to February and stay just during the summer. Just like I said, for just having the experience of I worked in Antarctica.
And that's what she says. That's what she was saying. Like, the population there swells from like 200 to like several thousand. Mm-hmm. And then you have all the other countries coming and going and stuff. So it's got to be a unique experience. And then
you meet people from all over the world.
Wasn't it like when they had their time off, they would go to the South Pacific you can only spend a few. Forgive me. They go somewhere in the South Pacific where it's gorgeous beaches. Pretty much live on the beach for like a few $100s a month.
Relatively speaking, very cheap living.
Yeah, so you barely lose any of that money. You just pocket it.
Yeah, they work the summer.
Uh-huh.
And then during the winter months, they would go to some place tropical and cheap, and then kind of live the high life for a while, and then go back to Antarctica and do the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, so it's an interesting lifestyle if you want to do it. You do have to pass the psych eval, and even with that, they have a support system via email and online now, because regardless of your psych eval, regardless of how well attuned you could be, or all the things that they have in place, people still have. Even recently, I think it was 2017, somebody lost their shit. I think it was actually a Norwegian. I really did. Like when I was reading
Screaming
information,
about a dog. I don't know what it was.
I don't know. Somehow it's not really a dog. No, it was somebody from one of the European research facilities. Like even though he passed the psych eval, they got they started getting a bit violent, and then they it's like, okay, well, so they're trying to. Best case scenario, shit happens.
Yeah.
But most of the research down there that you're doing, the actual research that's going on, is working on and analyzing climate, geology, and biology. They have a few other smaller things, but the whole place is a preserve, so you can't do a whole lot, and you have to watch what you're doing. And everything that is like your waste disposal is highly regulated and highly monitored.
Right. Yeah, they don't want to have any of the natural stuff as contamination free as possible.
What we were talking about the filmmakers is they show daylight. No, if it's like McCready said, the first damn week of winter, that's March through September. It is like pretty much constant darkness. And summertime is October through February. So remember, they're southern hemisphere. They're kind of like living that. How Australia, they have their Christmas in summer.
Well, and that's more of like a colloquial way of expressing the seasons, because in the southern hemisphere, winter starts June 21st, like summer starts here.
Right,
but they do it differently because of how like the summer months are when travel is available and supplies can come in and out, and then the winter time is when it all practically grinds to a halt.
Right.
So it's not like official as far as the calendar winter is. It's just how they describe it down there. And
because when that darkness hits, it's so cold and so frozen, there's no supplies. Like whatever you had as of March, you're not going to get any. You probably will not get anything till September because they have to wait for ice to thaw.
Right.
The whole place is icy all year, but it gets even more icy and more treacherous, so you can't get anything.
So, and that's one of the speculations when he says first goddamn week of winter. What are they meaning? The first week of October, or is it the official winter in June? It's like you don't know.
Well, it's October would be summer.
Or like,
first goddamn week of winter. Would he be thinking March, like winter down there, or is it like he's still on North America time and it's December 21st?
Right, you don't know.
But you don't see anything for Christmas.
They really weren't concerned about it.
No,
anyway,
they're just making it sound crazy. So yeah, but summertime it's all sun. There is no dark. The only time is like the little bit February to March, and September to October you might get like twilight. But yeah, so the biggest issue they do have down there is cabin fever. There's something called winter over syndrome where people get negative mood, sleep disturbance, impaired cognition, and apparently a lot of interpersonal drama, which is probably where that bar comes in handy.
There's interpersonal drama everywhere.
A lot of interpersonal drama in this movie. And there is a firearms restriction. There's a treaty started in 1959. It's been ratified repeatedly since. But basically, there's no military, nuclear, or territorial claims. It's only scientific. They're trying to protect the fragile ecosystem down there. Human activity is regulated, including waste. It is supposed to be peaceful scientific use only, and they encourage you to share information between countries and research stations.
Makes a lot of sense. Firearms
are prohibited. They have like an exception, but if you read it, no, you're not getting firearms down there.
Yeah, the odds of that exception actually happening is pretty extreme rare.
Yeah, so them having a gun, let alone a cabinet full of guns, would not have happened. There's no, but we're Americans, or but we need, there's no polar bears down there to protect against nothing. So yeah, I just thought it was funny. It's like, there's an exception, and I read it in the treaty, and I couldn't even, the wording is so weird, but it basically gets down to like, those conditions could never be met, so you're never getting a firearm down there.
Makes sense.
So yeah, it's kind of like they put it in there almost to make you feel good, but then it's like, no, you're not getting it.
Well, if
no, really, it's just a lighter. Look, I smoke.
So yeah, that's a tiny little snippet into life in Antarctica. There's plenty of stuff online you could probably find as far as learning more about it. So if you're curious, go ahead, take a look. All right, so now this segment is
pure speculation.
Yes, it is total speculation. It wouldn't fit into any other volume on the first 3 volumes, so that's why it's here. And it's about the dynamic between MacReady and Childs. Like I said, there's no evidence of this. There's no mention of it anywhere online or any research that we've done. It's pure speculation on our part. But it
is a noticeable... There's body language and stuff that goes on. It's kind of noticeable because it's something I noticed.
Right, you picked up on it first.
Yeah, it's something I've learned to do over the years, especially like you're a big fan of Kevin Smith movies. Like you watch it through the first time because Jay is so loud and animated. You miss everything else.
You're focused on him.
So I got in the habit of like doing this with other movies that we watch repeatedly. It's like forget the main action. Look what's going on around and see people's reactions.
Right.
And that's why, I don't know how many times we've had to watch this movie to do this project. So, you kind of get bored and like, all right, Mac's talking big dude. No offense, Kurt Russell. I love you. You're amazing. But it's like, yeah, I know what MacReady's saying and doing. So I started watching everyone else. And I picked up on, now, whether it was a conscious effort on Keith David's part or not, whether he gave like a weird backstory, anything. But if you watch the dynamic just between the two of them, especially Childs' facial expressions, the side eyes, the eye rolls, just, his body language, where when Mac's talking, he's not turned toward him to engage. Even Mac, when he's talking to him, it's just kind of like an over-the-shoulder, It's kind of well, I'll answer you, and I'll be professional, but I'm not going to give you,
not going to engage properly.
Yeah. So it almost looks as if they had a not so good history, either working there maybe over the summer or something that had happened previously and that, they just wind up working there together or something. It just, it plays off that way because if you watch, this is not so much Mac, but if you watch Childs, as I said, you see a little bit of it in the beginning.
Right, because I was going to say...
No, go ahead, yeah.
In the beginning of the movie, you don't really see much interaction between Childs and MacReady. But it's interesting that once MacReady takes on that de facto leadership role, where he says, screw it, I'm going to go up anyway, and he goes and visits the ship. Then he comes back, and everybody's looking to him for answers, even though Norris, the scientist who was there, he's in the background just futzing around with all the stuff.
But he's a geologist,
Yeah, but he would have more of a scientific mind, and you would think...
But even the biologists are like, what the...
Yeah. But yeah, right then, MacReady's trying to tell the story, and then there's Childs being very antagonistic. He's like, I can't believe any of this voodoo bullshit. He's just like, he's already a bit confrontational as soon as MacReady takes on a bit of a leadership role.
But it actually looks interesting because it almost seems like the character was written to basically be devil's advocate, to basically play it the whole time.
It seems like it, yeah.
So it's like anytime somebody says something's like, do you believe this, hey Blair, do you believe this voodoo bullshit? And then, stuff like that. And it almost seems like, he almost seems like giving them the questions to kind of further their answer or further their exploration of what's happening. Which is fine, and I understand it's probably what the character purpose is.
When they've already witnessed what happened in the kennel, and
he's still questioning,
and he's still like, "I'm not believing this."
Yeah, but he's also one of the pot smokers, so he's probably like, "I just got a bad batch." I think this shit just kicked in. You really start seeing his almost like hatred toward Mac after they find the blood was destroyed. Mm-hmm. And they're out in the hall arguing, and they're taking the gun. They calm windows down. They take Gary gives over the gun. He's like, okay, maybe I shouldn't be in charge. You see Childs want to take over, and then Max stops it. If you only want to watch that scene, just watch Childs. Mm-hmm. Watch the eye roll, the way he turns his body away from him a little bit. It's like, putting his back to him, putting a barrier between him. It's not just that moment. There's more to it. And I may be reading into it, but he really postures like, I hate this guy. I've always hated this guy. Now this SOB is going to freaking be in charge with the only gun.
Like you said, it's like, the body language, when you look at, he says, I'll take it. And then first Clark says, the hell you will, and pulls a knife on him.
Yeah.
And then Mac is like, no, maybe we need somebody who's a bit more level-headed. And
Charles is like, it's like this.
Right. And then everybody seems to accept Mac taking control. And you see him, and then Charles is just like, it's like, what the hell? No, this bastard's doing it?
But it doesn't seem, but somehow the way he played that, I could be wrong, stick with me, people. Now imagine. No, it seems like it wasn't just that moment. It had that impression like every freaking time this guy's got to be here and just mess up my shit and mess up my this. Mm-hmm. And he's always got to be Mr. I don't know. It kind of had that thing that I've seen before when there's that one friend that, it's your group of friends, but they don't necessarily get along. That's what it kind of like reminded me of. And like things you see at school where you have to be in class and you have to be civil. Or even at work, you have to be professional, but you've had a history with this person, and you're never gonna fully like them. You'll deal, but you won't. He gives off that vibe, and McCready gives off the like hand up, whatever. I don't give a crap. Yeah. You're here. I could care less. Then you see, and then it comes into play again with when they find Fuchs's body, Windows comes in, and then him and Mac and Knowles go off, and then they're boarding everything up, and and then all the stuff goes down, and you see Charles kind of caring and worrying about everyone, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, we're gonna leave him out there, like, to die. Well, what if we're wrong? And he's just like instantly, like, then we're wrong. But it seemed like, had it been anybody else, I don't know, I might have considered, we'll let them back in and we'll see what's what. But it just, I don't know, it was the way he just says, he was just so quick to be like, pardon my French, fuck this guy, let him die.
Well, it says he does question Knowles briefly, where he says, because Knowles says, he's one of them. And then Childs goes, if it did get to him, and then Knowles is like, hey, come on, man. Like I said, devil's advocate.
But then, also not to the extent to say, like, exactly. I don't care if I'm wrong, let him die.
But then, when it came to Mac, he's like, well, then we're wrong.
Like, my brain was just saying, like, he hit on my sister, let him die.
Let him freeze at that point.
Pardon me. Yeah, just like, I don't know, it seemed like it hit different. Mm. And then, and the everything that kind of follows, you see the way he's just constantly, like, he just keeps, like... Mm-hmm. Like, Mac is on edge, and he just, like, twists... It's almost like he is twisting the knife further and harder on Mac than he does anybody else. He's not even just playing devil's advocate. He's just like, I'm going to fuck your shit up.
But he says, well, you look at it, after that, there's two moments where Childs antagonizes him when McCready is ready to blow the whole place up. When Mac is in the storeroom and they break down the door, Mac is saying, what the hell are you guys doing? And Childs still says, you would have done the same thing. And that's when Palmer's like, don't argue with him.
Yeah.
And then later on, once they have Norris on the table and they're trying to resuscitate him, Mac is still saying, you bastards. And then Childs is like, we got to sleep sometime, McCready.
Basically threatening his life, yeah.
All what's going on is he's still threatening him, even though Mac is ready to press the button and blow them all to hell.
But also, any of the others around him could be one. Why is he focusing on Mac? Mm-hmm. Pardon me. So yeah, more than anybody else, he's pressing Mac's buttons. Mm-hmm. So it just, to me, I will keep saying it, and I'm sorry, I'm going to repeat myself. I could be wrong. But it does seem like they've got a history. And
to that feel.
And then the blood testing and everything where it's like, Clark, I'm sorry. That was self-defense. You don't bring a scalpel to a fight that's got a gun. He went to stab him. He shot him. But you see, like, you watch Childs' face. Like,
he was in shock.
Yeah, he was like, damn, he meant it. Like, but then keep watching. You see, like, almost he goes to turn, like, I'm trying to say how to explain it. Then he also gets, like, really angry, almost like, holy crap, it's like, I knew it. He's a bad person, And then he's still antagonizing him when he's tied up and when he's thinking the blood test is bullshit, da-da-da.
Well, yeah, first he says, it's a crock of shit. And then when the test shows that Clark, according to Mac's hypothesis, is human, suddenly Childs reverses himself as well. Then Clark was human then. It's like,
and you murdered him. It's like,
so
no.
you believe in the test now, but not a few moments later.
And then you're not going to believe in the test when I do your blood. And so, yeah.
Right.
It just seems like for whatever reason he's antagonizing just far more than anybody else. And it just seems like it's purpose. So, like, watch the movie through and really just focus on Childs and focus on the body language and the eyes and stuff and the attitude he throws at him. Because then it makes that final scene almost make more sense, where everybody's trying to say it's more suspicion or this, that, and the other thing. If you watch it as, like, it's a bro moment, it's like, one of those conversations that you have where you just use the word dude. Dude. It's one of those kind of...
Right.
But, like, if you look at it as they had history where they hated each other, and you notice it through the whole movie, just watch Keith David. I mean, he's freaking brilliant. Because he makes sure that even when the action's not on him, he's still reacting fully.
It's a sign of a good actor where it's like, you're not the main focus, but you're still...
Play to it.
In the scene itself.
Yeah, don't just sit there waiting for your cue. Play along with it. But when when he walks up to McCready and everything is on fire and Mac's got the drink, it makes it more poignant if you look at it that basically that exchange between the two of them and where Mac laughs, Childs drinks the stuff and Mac laughs. It's almost like, of all the people I'm going to die with, it's the person I've hated the most. But it's almost like also in that moment, you almost get that we're cool. Yeah, we're cool. It's like we're dying. So whatever the hell happened before doesn't matter anymore.
Right. There's still
it kind of looks like
distrust,
yeah.
But at the same time, it's like
bygones are bygones. We're done. We're cool. Let's just sit here and die and just get over ourselves. It makes that scene look different if you look at it that way.
Right, 'cause it even plays up a little bit better when you read the script that in the rubble of the base, they actually set up a chessboard and start to play as they're eventually going to freeze to death.
Right, yeah.
So it kind of does the same thing where it's like, we are in the camp that we believe both of them are human at the end. Bill Lancaster, when he wrote the script, believed the same thing. He thought it was more poetic that way. So when you see them in the script, setting up a chessboard and Mac says, well, I'll teach you how to play, even though their demise is imminent.
Yeah, in the 5 minutes we have left.
Right. It seems like that. Yeah, it's like we've accepted our fate. All the history is history now. Let's just be friends until the end. So
so it's just an interesting something. Like always look at movies a little. Take the time to look at it a little different. Have fun with it. If you don't see what I see, that's perfectly fine.
Right.
You haven't had to watch it as many times as I have.
No, they probably watched it more. But yes, if you've seen this movie a bunch of times and you know it front to back to front, watch it with that mind frame. And just keep an eye on Keith David as much as you can. You'll see that, it kind of...
There's a lot of sass into it.
Yeah. There's no evidence of this. This is just our speculation. But, it's...
It's just great acting, too.
Yeah, it's just an interesting point of view.
Hey, Keith, call me.
He just his pretty eyes.
He does. He's got gorgeous eyes. I'm sorry. Gorgeous lashes. Maybe it's Maybelline.
Excuse me. So tell us what you think. Do you have any other hypotheses about what may be going on as far as a dynamic between characters? So let us know in the comments. And there you have it.
Is this finally it? Are we finally done?
Yes.
Yay!
All right. You're recording?
I've been recording, So whenever you're ready. I've been recording. I don't know what kind of shit you're into now. Peter, it's Clem Fandango. Can you hear me? It's Clem Fandango.
Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Try to have like a different attitude. It's not like morose or anything, but try to...
Hello, movie fans.
Oh my God.
We're back.
Don't know. Joel deserves better.
Yeah. All right.
Slow it down just a wee bit more.
All right.
Thank you.
Hello, movie fans. We're back. We here at DALWHINNY recently had an interview with Joel Polis.
Now that sounded horrible.
Yeah, it did.
That sounded like you were falling asleep.
All right. The volume just kicked in. Holy shit.
Just kicked it.
I don't know why they had to give me a suppository. DALWHINNY recently had an interview with Joel Polis.
Yeah, that sounds better.
All right. I'll do a couple more.
I was going to say, because you said Joel Polis, and you looked at me right away. It's like, that's going to be...
Cut away.
That's going to be a sharp edit. And the stuff's reflecting in your eyes, so we know you're human.
I gleam.
Yeah.
So, how did you want to do this again?
I don't know.
Okay.
Will you just stop clocking out? Pain in the ass computer. I really...
All right, now we're going to get into... Fuck, I keep touching myself. Sorry.
Oh, fucking hell, you made the Bellatrix laugh come out.
Yes, I did.
I kept touching myself. I couldn't even get a naughty comment out.
May I have some lippy, please?
Yes. Catch. Did that hit Callahan?
No, it landed next to him.
Okay. Phew.
Right.
I keep touching my... You shouldn't do that on camera. This isn't OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Alright, so we've been rolling.
Okay.
Get rolling. Okay, walk in the front. You're not at work. You don't have to yell at people who can't hear.
Well, not only that, I felt like because the microphone, I need to project. But
how would your husband know you're doing work of your hands? Don't have that dish that look.
And remember, Brito spelled sideways is the first Dracula movie from the 30s, where you see him like very expressive with his eyes, as if he's hypnotizing. He's like,
well, he is. I'm that silent movie training kind of thing. Yeah.
You gotta plug the microphone in.
Ah, shit, pickles.
Oliver Winters Funk, you appear to be running for office. What is your platform? Well, we're going to start off with, everybody gets treats every hour on the hour.
That's every 5 minutes.
Yes. And then snuggles and kisses every 30 minutes. And then, yes. That is all I need to have on my platform. Just a little practice run. 8 fans.
Hey there, cool cats and kids.
Yeah, just kind of be like this.
Do it like 3 more times?
No.
Or 2 more times? Ready? 3,
yes.
2.
Yes. Yes.
Pete, it's Clem Fandango. Can you hear me? It's Clem Fandango.
Yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Lemon face. Lemon face. Okay, ready?
And we have decided to throw our hat into the ring and fuck. All for the sake of ratings.
That's OnlyFans, not YouTube.
Sorry, wrong website.
Nobody wants that one. Was like perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah. So. Oh my god! We're putting that in.
All right, he's lost his fucking
What
mind.
the hell kind of noise was that out of my man? I have no idea.
I was trying to go for a low pan when he was giggling.
Yeah,
all right.
Clear your throat, clear your baffles. Yeah.
All righty. Okay. We hope you enjoyed the outtakes. I hope you thought they were funny. So now is the end of our little opus to John Carpenter's The Thing. We have so many people we want to thank. We want to thank you for watching. We appreciate every view, every comment, every like, every share. We really do appreciate it. We want to shout out 2 different YouTube channels. One is called Cinema Forecast. They've given us a couple shout outs. Their link will be in their channel below. They do podcasts about movies. Really cool. The other one is Represent This. They did their own documentary series on John Carpenter's The Thing, and they used us as a bit of a source. And they gave us a shout out for that in their 5th episode of their thing. We really do appreciate that. It actually gave us a little bit of traffic as a result of that, so we're very appreciative of that. And we want to dedicate this entire film documentary series to Von Babison, who has been very active in the Thing community. He was a crew member on Rob Bottin's special effects crew, and like I said, he's been very active. He's very prominent. He loves to talk about all the movies he worked on, and he loved talking about The Thing. Even Stuart Cohen cited him as someone who was a very reliable source on the behind-the-scenes stuff. Unfortunately, he passed away earlier this year. I had reached out to him, and he was very energized and wanted to help us with this project. Unfortunately, he passed away before that could happen, so our thoughts and prayers go to him and his family. This whole series is dedicated to him, and we thank him for all of the good stories he had given us over the years. I want to give a special thanks to Stuart Cohen, Norbert Weiser, Tom Waits, and Joel Polis for all of their participation in helping us make this project. Without them, it would not be as great as it is. We really do appreciate them for all of their help in answering our questions, with sending pictures.
Yeah.
Tom and Joel doing the on-camera interviews, which you will find on our channel. And I want to especially thank Tom Waits, because he helped us put us in touch to Joel so we could get that interview. So he was very helpful with that, and we really do appreciate that.
And especially Mr. Weiser, if he hadn't challenged you into what you were going to do differently,
honestly, yes,
you wouldn't have been able to do all this. So
when this was originally conceived, it wasn't going to be this big thing. But he says, well, what are you going to do that's different than everything else that's out there? And it inspired us to create this, and we hope you enjoyed it. And we really enjoyed making it, and so we can't thank you enough for watching. Now, I really want to specially thank my wife, Kala, for all of her help with this. Yes. Her unending adorableness, her unending support.
Adorkableness is more like it.
That is true, and it's awesome. But also enduring my
God.
almost, basically it is an obsession almost about this. And I can't thank her enough. I honestly can't. I really can't thank you enough, Shri P, because this would not be as good as it is without you. It really wouldn't be.
Thank you. And
you have endured all of my conversations
daily.
Not just since this project started, but since we've been together about The Thing and all kinds of things, and just you're like, I can know you get a little frustrated at it.
Yeah.
But I really can't thank you enough, my honey, because you have supported me through this project. You have supported me through the 20 plus years we've been together, and you have been my miracle, and I really can't thank you enough, Sweet.
Thank you, my sweet. I've already started taking payment back. I made him watch Wicked, Greatest Showman,
And
now I'm not even super into musicals. I was like, these are fun. You're watching them.
And Wicked for Good is coming out, and I'm actually looking forward to watching it.
Oh my goodness.
But really, thank you a lot, Sri P. Like I said, this wouldn't be what it is without you. It really wouldn't. And I really can't thank you enough,
honey.
my love.
Of course I'm going to support you in what you do.
And I appreciate it. I really, really do. You are awesome. You kick ass. Okay. You always do.
I'm starting to blush now. Stop.
All right.
She's also waving her hand going, tell me more.
Oh, please stop. Yes.
Yeah. No, my heart is too full. I cannot take more.
But also, I do believe I thanked you in the video when we showed the.
You did. You did. You need to stop gushing because
I can't help it.
You do run on a lot.
Yes, I do. I go on forever. So thank you all. Thank you, Sweet P.
You're welcome, honey.
Have a good one.
Bye.